Hello, my name is Seymour Kazimirski. I host a show called Seymour's World on Think Tech Hawaii. Every now and then, I have a commentary series called Let There Be Light. Today's topic is One Thing at a Time. Before we get into the topic, I want to thank you all for the emails and for all the phone calls, especially last week after we had the Ann Namba series on. That was excellent. But I have not responded to most of you because I was in New York over the weekend. We are going to post my contact information, which is my personal email, and how to see all the other shows, including the Let There Be Light shows and the Seymour's World shows. So you'll see them on right now. Please make a note of them, and then you can contact me that way. Okay, let's talk about one thing at a time. My wife, Sue, is the inspiration for today's topic. As usual, Sue gives me her thoughts about the series, Let There Be Light. And as usual, she has come up with one that all of us, or maybe most of us, need to think about. Why is it that so many of us feel overwhelmed or burned out at work or in our everyday life? It's not just the number of hours we're working, but also the fact that we spend too many continuous hours juggling too many things at the same time. I think what we really have lost is understanding our own personal boundaries. Technology has blurred them beyond recognition. Wherever we go, our work follows us, on our phones, our laptops, ever insistent and intrusive. It's like an itch we can't resist scratching, even though we know that scratching eventually makes it worse. To tell the truth, do you tell the truth? Do you answer emails during conference calls and sometimes even during calls with another person? Do you bring your laptop to meetings and then pretend you're taking notes while you're surfing the net? Do you eat lunch at your desk? Do you make calls while you're driving and even send the occasional text even though you know you shouldn't? I am guilty as charged. How about you? The biggest cost, assuming you don't crash your car, is to your productivity. In part, that's a simple consequence of splitting your attention so that you're partially engaged in multiple activities that rarely fully engage in one. In part, it's because when you switch away from a primary task to do something else, you're increasing the time it takes to finish that task. How many things can you do at the same time and really do them well? Take it from me, it doesn't work. But most insidiously, it's because if you're always doing something, you're relentlessly burning down your available reservoir of energy over the course of every day. So you have less available with every passing hour. I know a lot of you talk about multitasking, and we're actually going to talk about multitasking with my guest today on Seymour's World. And we'll understand the difference between multitasking and doing a single job well. I know this from my own experience. I get 2 to 3 times as much accomplished when I focus without interruption for a designated period of time and then take a real break, away from my desk. The best way for you to fuel higher productivity and more innovative thinking is to strongly encourage yourself to focus on one thing at a time. It's also up to us as individuals to set our own boundaries. Consider these 3 behaviors for yourself. Do the most important thing first thing in the morning, preferably without interruption, for 60 or 90 minutes, with a clear start and stop time. If possible, work in a private space during this period or with sound-reducing earphones. Finally, resist every impulse to distraction, knowing that you have a designated stopping point. The more absorbed you can get, the more productive you'll be. When you're done, take at least a few minutes to renew yourself. Establish regular scheduled times to think more long-term, creatively or strategically. If you don't, you'll constantly succumb to the tyranny of the urgent. Also, find a different environment in which to do this activity, preferably one that's relaxed and conducive to open-ended thinking. Take real and regular vacations. Real means that when you're off, you're truly disconnecting from work. Regular means several times a year if possible, even if some are only 2 or 3 days added to a weekend. The research strongly suggests that you'll be far healthier if you take all of your vacation time and more productive overall. A single principle lies at the heart of all these suggestions. When you're engaged at work, fully engaged, for defined periods of time. When you're renewing, truly renew. If you know me, I try to make these rules part of my manic lifestyle, and guess what? They work for me. Thank you, Sue, and thank you all for watching and listening. Remember, one thing at a time, every day. My name is Seymour Kazimirski. Our show is called Seymour's World. Aloha.